I'm Donna.
And I'm Bruce, and this is Lyrical Wisdom.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Lyrical Wisdom, where we dive into song lyrics and offer heart-based wisdom through our interpretations. If you enjoy what you're hearing, don't forget you can catch every episode of Lyrical Wisdom on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and more.
You can also find us on YouTube. Just search Lyrical Wisdom Show. Do you have a song you'd like to hear us shed some light on? You can email us requests, questions, comments to lyricalwisdomshow@gmail.com. That's lyricalwisdomshow@gmail.com. Or leave a comment on a YouTube video. We'd really love to hear from you. And all requests get an episode and a shout out.
So join us every Tuesday and Friday as we dig deep and deliver our wisdom. And thank you for sharing, liking, and subscribing to
Lyrical Wisdom.
Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Donna.
You know, it is so beautiful today. I know for me right now, it's fall, y'all. And it has been so beautiful. Just the breeze and the cooler weather. I'm really, really feeling so blessed.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm feeling the exact same thing. I'm where I am right now. I just looked out the window and I'm just looking out at the sky, and it's so blue and so beautiful, and the sun's shining through those fall leaves. And oh my goodness, it is giving me such a beautiful, beautiful day in paradise.
I was going to say, how does it make you feel, Bruce?
Just another day in paradise.
Like you're in paradise. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about walking the dogs and just, oh my gosh, like just those beautiful moments of just being able to take a deep breath outside and just appreciate it.
I fed my fish this morning, and I love just standing there watching them and breathing the air and just being with the love of Gaia that is so prevalent right now. It is a beautiful feeling.
It really is. It's such a beautiful, beautiful universal feeling of what I believe namaste is saying as we say it to each other. It's just a completely beautiful acknowledgement of every day is a day in paradise, because the God within me is acknowledging that God within you. And I cannot tell you how much I am acknowledging the God outside right now, going, hey, look at this beautiful stuff out here. It's amazing. And I'm like, yes, it is. Screaming at the top
I was
of
just
my
thinking
lungs.
that, Bruce. I was just thinking, maybe when I'm outside, I should do that. I should just look at the trees and say, namaste. And
That's
look
beautiful.
at the fish and say namaste. Because you recognize the God that is existing within all. And that's what namaste means. The God in me sees and recognizes the God in you.
Yes. And for a lot of my friends, and, for us too, for us sitting here right now, being with you, if you want to say, you know what, thank you, dear Lord, for providing me with this beautiful day, boy, do I feel good saying that. And so I encourage you too, because if that's where it goes, you never know. That's where it goes. And just go with it. Just enjoy it. Have that day in paradise. Have it with, your moment of feeling like there is a God out there that is unnamed, or maybe you want to call it Jesus Christ. Maybe you just, however you feel in your heart, that is the paradise.
Right. It can be simply spirit or simply love. Creator,
Donna,
source.
yes, Donna, she introduced me and educated me on something. I cannot lie. And it is where the word inspired has its roots and where it
Mm.
comes from. And I would love it if you wouldn't mind just saying that real quick, because I think it is really what is going to make some of us feel like we can also incorporate that into our days of having another day in paradise.
Right, right. Well, for me, I just knew something inside me opened up that the word inspire is rooted in the word, like, or most of the English language does come from Latin, and I did take Latin in high school, so, but it means in spirit, which,
Yes.
oh, thank you, Allison. She just pulled up the word inspire comes from inspire, meaning to breathe into, to breathe. And for me, breath is source, is God, is life. So when it's in spirit, when you are
Yes.
inspired, you have that that spirit within you that you have
Yes.
breathed in, and therefore inspiration to me is the forthcoming of that,
Oh
to
my gosh.
influence,
Yeah.
to move, to guide, breathing life into something or someone.
Well, and we also have this beautiful display in front of us. I wish you guys could see what is like a dashboard for us because Allison is in here just giving us this awesome stuff.
Uh-huh.
And so we're looking at the etymology. It's like a 50-cent word, but Latin origin breakdown, related words. The root spirite is the origin of other related English words like spirit. It's right
Well,
there.
yeah. And
And
then
I
right
just
below
love
that,
that.
connection to spirit. The word
Yes, I
spirit comes from
yes,
the Latin spiritus, which is breath or life.
that
It
is so
shares the
beautiful.
same root. So, yeah, for
Yeah.
me, inspired is in spirit.
Yes.
And,
Yes. And
I can remember growing up, um, sitting and being in that moment of inspiration. You know what
yes.
I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
it's the imagination
it
of
is.
playtime, just allowing that spirit to come through and to move you into whatever is being, thought of in the moment.
Mhm.
Playtime. You know what
Yes.
I'm talking
Yes.
about? Do you remember
Oh
that
my
growing up,
goodness.
Bruce?
Yes, I do. And I think that, I just thought of something that right now there's some very serious sporting events that are occurring. And the reason why I bring that up is because so many times I see some of these sports athletes come to the camera and the microphone to do an interview. And one of the things that they will say is they just say, I just have to give the glory to God because they feel this incredible in spirit, inspired moment to be just like what you were talking about, to play. And it takes that imagination and that ability to play with things wherever it's coming from. If they feel like it's coming from the Lord, maybe some of us feel like it's coming from our spirit, our source. And that is that beautiful, beautiful moment of inspiration to explore our imagination and create something that maybe wasn't there before, but because we had that just complete splash of random creativity, it makes
Yeah.
us do something spectacular and magical. And that is such a beautiful moment that we can all enjoy in paradise. I love that.
Oh, and you know what? You all can enjoy too, because our Allison was inspired to create for each and every one of you a playlist of all
Yes.
of our, not all of them, but they're coming. They're continually, this playlist is continually growing of all of the lyrical wisdom songs that we do for you. This playlist is free and it's available on Spotify, and it's called,
Lyrical wisdom songs.
that's right, Lyrical Wisdom Songs. What a beautiful, inspired creation from Allison for each and every one of you. We are so grateful and appreciative for that. And
We are.
we love your request. Don't Don't forget that. You can get inspired and send us a request of a song that you would like for us to share a little lyrical wisdom on.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is, honestly, everything that we are doing these days, we are so inspired. And that actually did, because there's another thing that Allison has been inspiring us to do. But, I got to admit, I feel like we're kind of growing up here. Don't you feel like that? We're kind of growing
Oh,
up
the show
as an
is,
entity.
yeah,
Yeah, we are
yeah.
just growing up. Like we are doing the new and exciting and having our moments. But yeah, we are definitely having that moment, I feel like.
Yes, yes. And that is what we have for you today, right, Bruce?
I think so. It might be a little bit something that, might be a little segue into the song that we're doing today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. A
Yeah.
very interesting, powerful song from a
Yes.
very interesting, powerful artist. I think in his time, he really, really pushed the envelope to make people think. Do you know what
I
I'm
agree.
saying?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. A
And he
little bit of
used
a
it.
rebel.
Yeah, definitely, definitely a rebel. Somebody that has grown up in their own experience, I feel like, and is
Yeah.
much, much more comfortable with utilizing the platform that they have to speak to what their heart is trying to tell them to say, I think. And I love it because I have a
You know,
personal experience with this artist actually, which is
oh,
we can talk about
awesome.
at another time. But really, I do feel like that's what you were just saying. Like, this is truly, not only our growth as a show, but also an artist that has grown up through their experience and
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 I
their
think,
artistry.
yes, and I think a big point of this song, I'll say it really quick because then we need to get into the song, is that it was written in 1973, and I believe that was like the ending years of the Vietnam War.
Wow. Yes.
A lot of us, there are people who grew up, had to grow up in this different way of living in which war was so prominent. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yes. War and loss
Hmm.
and protest and
Yes.
different
Yep.
opinions and just so much change.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we could probably tell them what we're talking about,
Oh,
huh?
yeah. Yeah.
um, well, get ready, you guys. We're going to do "Growing Up" by Bruce Springsteen. Well, I stood stone-like at midnight, suspended in my masquerade. I combed my hair till it was just right and commanded the night brigade. I was open to pain and crossed by the rain, and I walked on a crooked crutch. I strolled all alone through a fallout zone and came out with my soul untouched. I hid in the clouded wrath of the crowd, but when they said, "Sit down," I stood up. Oh, oh, growing up. The flag of piracy flew from my mast. My sails were set wing to wing. I had a jukebox graduate for first mate. She couldn't sail, but she sure could sing. I pushed B-52 and bombed them with the blues, with my gear set stubborn on standing. I broke all the rules, strafed my old high school, never once gave thought to landing. I hid in the clouded warmth of the crowd, but when they said, "Come down," I threw up. Oh, oh, growing up. Work it back now. I took month-long vacations in the stratosphere, and it's really hard to hold your breath. I swear I lost everything I ever loved or feared. I was the cosmic kid in full costume dress. Well, my feet, they finally took root in the earth, but I got me a nice little place in the stars. And I swear I found the key to the universe in the engine of an old parked car. I hid in the mother breast of the crowd, but when they said, "Pull down," I pulled up. Oh, oh, growing up.
Wow.
That was a joy to read.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Very, very
Yeah.
powerful.
Oh, that was a joy to
Yeah,
read.
I love
Just a
it.
joy.
Stood stone like at midnight,
Yes.
suspended in my masquerade. So that right there, I mean, a masquerade, we all know, is something that you're not. It's wearing a
Yes.
mask. It's pretending to be someone else, pretending to
Yeah.
be something else.
Yeah.
And to stand stone like at midnight. And what is midnight? Midnight is that point of what is all of a day and night pressed into one point. Do you know what
Yes.
I mean?
Yes.
It's
Yes. Yes.
the
Yes.
ending of the day or the ending of the night and the beginning of a day. It's that one moment of dark and light. It's that 0 point that we all talk about, that, point of being in that suspension of neither here nor there, this or that. You know, it's like
Yeah.
dark or light. It's
Yeah.
it's midnight.
It's
It's
an
not morning or night. It's midnight, which is
it's such an incredible,
fascinating.
yeah, such a thank you. It's such an incredible threshold.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree, like and it's, you know, I think that, as we think about the title of the song, Growing Up, I think it's a prominent feeling in a lot of us to feel like we stand stone like in our period of growing up, in those periods of time when we look back. I was still growing, I was still learning, but I could, I definitely stood there stone like, because I remember in my youth, there were times when I just felt like I knew everything. And I definitely knew, well, I know now that I didn't really know everything. And that's okay. Like that's a part of that's a part of growing up, is to, you know, embrace that feeling of trying to figure out who the heck we are, and where, where we're going, what we're going to be, how do we feel, what is this, what is that, we're just trying to be. And so I love the standing stone light and being suspended in my masquerade, because that's what it can become like too. You feel like you have to kind of give yourself a persona, be something that maybe is an act. It's kind of a
Mhm.
masquerade ball, covering up our face with that little mask over the eyes, and hiding kind of who we are behind that mask, and kind of having that masquerade of, enjoying those moments like that. And then I combed my hair till it was just right. I feel like that's that part of it. We're preparing for the show, if you will. We're trying to show ourselves in a certain light because of that masquerade. And then, command the night brigade. I love that, because I think that that then goes back to what you were just saying, Donna, where they stand stone like in the midnight.
Yes, Bruce, I couldn't help but really focus on that for one moment. I became stone
Yeah.
like. No, that standing stone like at midnight is, for me, I could see the beauty in it, the desire to just stay right there in that moment of all possibility, in that moment of suspending your masquerade. Because in that moment, you don't have to be who you were yesterday, and you don't have
Yes.
to think about who you're going to be today,
Yeah.
because it's not yesterday or today. It's a moment where you can, for me, that stone like is, I just didn't want that moment to end. I
Yeah,
wanted,
yeah.
how when you carve something in stone, it kind of means that it's there forever. So I feel
Yes.
like, he was wanting that moment to last forever because in that moment he was able to drop that masquerade. It was suspended
Ah,
for that moment. Do you see what I'm saying? And he
yes. Oh,
could
beautiful.
just be. But you know
Beautiful.
what? We're in reality, so hey, I got to comb my hair to make it just right. And I commanded the night
I love it.
brigade. Yeah, it's like because in that moment I knew who I was, you know.
Hey,
I
yes,
had a
yes,
moment
yes.
where I was suspending my masquerade. So now when I put on my masquerade, I can command. I was open to pain. Yeah, I can take pain, bring it on.
Yeah, and crossed by the rain. Yeah,
Yeah. Yep. And I walked on a crooked crutch. Now, this is fascinating because I'm trying to figure out what he's saying. Does he have a hurt leg? And he's
yeah.
really having to feel pain in this moment. And his crutch doesn't quite work right.
It
And
doesn't quite
so
support him, maybe.
it
Yeah,
doesn't quite support him. He's having to
yeah.
like limp and not go straight. You
Yes.
know, I
Yeah,
strolled all alone through a fallout zone and came out with my soul untouched. So for me, this is speaking about that, what we were speaking of war earlier.
yes.
And maybe he was hurt in the war, with his leg or whatever. And he is still in that place that was almost destroyed because it was a fallout
Hmm.
zone, meaning, there's crumbling buildings around. There's the life that I knew has been distorted, has been destroyed almost in a
Yes,
fallout
yes.
zone, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely.
so this is also, I mean, it's not only literal, but when you look at it, like you said, in the other sense of growing up, everything, my childhood's gone. I'm in a fallout
Yes,
zone now. It's
yes.
been blown to pieces, right?
And yeah, and I love that. I love that, Donna, because there are certain industries that we live in today through the advancement of technology where you actually hear people say things like, well, I had to kind of break that thing and then rebuild it or fix it. And then maybe break it again and then rebuild it and fix it. And that's just the process that they go through. They,
Hmm.
you know, in a way, they kind of, if you think about the fallout zone, it's like they enact the nuclear option to go back to a beginning where they can start fresh. And that's where I kind of feel like that kind of alludes to. It's like I had to kind of go through this fallout zone and I came out with my soul untouched. I came out
Yes,
unscathed. And
right.
so, because that is I know people out there, and I encourage my listeners, tell us about this. We all, I think, have moments in our youth where we feel like, boy, was I lucky to get out of that unscathed. And it might not have been that dramatic. Like, it sounds like, oh, my life was in danger or something, something like that. It doesn't have to be that dramatic. It's just that I know we all kind of feel that moment of coming out of something with our heart and our soul intact. And I
Yes.
love that, because we do sometimes feel like we came from a moment in time in the past that was like us strolling all alone through a fallout zone. What a
Hmm.
beautiful way for Bruce Springsteen to say it.
Yeah.
Um, and I hid in the clouded wrath of the crowd. I love that. I
Yeah.
love it. And I think of that as, I could kind of sit back and know that I had a different point of view. I had a different perspective, different opinion, however you want to say it. And when they said sit down, I stood up, you know. Um, I love that phrase because there's just so much to that. There's so much of not necessarily always being able to speak up, but then at that moment when they're like, hey, you need to sit down, he's like, uh-uh. I'm going to stand up.
I
you
feel
know,
like he's like in the middle of a protest right now because it says,
yeah.
in the clouded wrath of the crowd. In other words,
Hmm.
there's obviously some sort of anger or something going on. That's what wrath
Yeah.
is.
Oh, yeah.
And, sit down. And he stands up. I love
Yeah.
it.
And
Love it.
I do too. I do too. It is a, that moment of growing up. It's,
Mm-hmm.
when you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you need to so strongly say something, and people around you are following the Joneses, or they're just kind of going with the crowd, and then the crowd looks at Bruce Springsteen as he describes it here, and they say, hey, you need to sit down, and he's like, no, I'm standing up
Right.
proud.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I I can say this honestly to my audience out there. There have been times when I stood up and felt very strongly, I am going to stand here and I'm, very confident in how I feel. This is what it is. Nobody else knows what I know. Everybody else is wrong, and they're all telling me, you need to kind of quiet down there, buddy. Sit down. I'm like, nope, I'm standing up, and I remember those moments, and I look back on those things and I think, there was a lot of wonderful beauty to that, but there's also a beauty in learning. And so I love that about this song, because that's exactly what it is. It's like a growing up learning process.
Yes, and he acknowledges his rebelness,
Oh yeah,
his being a
exactly.
rebel, by saying, "The flag of piracy flew from my mast. My sails were set wing to wing."
Yes.
So he, no doubt about it, he's telling everybody, my flag of piracy flew. I had a jukebox graduate for my first mate. She couldn't sail, but she sure could sing. I absolutely love that, Bruce.
Me
I
too.
can't help but go to like a Disney movie, like Beauty and the Beast, where there's a jukebox and she's singing. A
Oh no,
cartoon
absolutely.
jukebox, but that's what it is. I think what he is saying here is he is flying his sail. He's, flying his own flag. And he's also connecting with sound, with music, allowing the music to kind of dictate almost where he's going, because he
Yeah.
calls that music his first mate, you know?
Yes, I
In other
agree. And it
words,
is,
I'm sailing with sound. I'm sailing with the music that's in my soul.
yes,
I'm
that is
not
exactly
sitting
how,
down.
yeah, yeah. I love that, because it really leads us to believe, hey, this is a moment of, um, you know, we were, you know, uh, we were in that moment, and we were proud of how we felt, and really felt very strongly about the way that we wanted to go. And we were not going to hide it. We were going to display it for everybody to see, like wearing our heart on our shoulder.
Yeah.
And so, I love that. I couldn't agree with you more. And I love how it goes on to
Yeah.
put a
Because
little,
you got to push the buttons, for the songs that you pick. And he
yes,
pushed B-52 and bombed them
bombed.
with the blues.
Yes.
I love that. I mean, such creativity
Yeah,
in that inspiration. Really, really.
absolutely.
With my
Absolutely.
gear set stubborn on standing.
Yes, I broke all the rules, strafed my old high school, never once gave thought to landing. And it's I think that all of that is leading us to see, the bombing them with the blues, and my gear set stubborn on standing. It's just, it is a moment of saying, leading us to see that breaking all the rules was just, it was a natural progression. It
Yeah.
was a natural progression. And to say I strafed my old high school, like, I mean, I understand that, because that's like strafing is like a shooting. And it's I believe it comes from an airplane.
Blowing up.
And so
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that, it really is it's something that is saying, hey, I was quite an impact during my time there, you know. And so I think that I really think it's a very eloquent way to not just say that, but also give such flavor to the time period and where the world was at that moment. Like we talked about, it was
Mm-hmm.
1973. And so, there were a lot of people that felt very strongly using these kinds of words like wands was definitely going to be encouraging certain emotions and certain feelings.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Bruce. I mean, when you look at all of this together, a B-52 is an aircraft that was used in Vietnam for bombing.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so he's saying, look, I pushed B-52, but I bombed him with the blues. In other
Yes. With
words,
music. Yeah.
right, I broke all the rules. And his gear, when you think of going to war, soldiers have gear. They have to wear gear. And his gear was set stubborn on standing. In other words, he
Yeah.
wasn't going to lay down. He wasn't going to sit down. He wasn't going to stop being himself and growing, you know? And then breaking all the rules strafed my old high school, meaning he just machine gunned it from that low flying airplane,
Yeah. Yeah.
Never, because never once gave thought to
Yeah.
landing that airplane. In other words, I just said goodbye to my high school days. I'm
Yes.
growing up. I'm a young adult now, and everything, that was forced upon me in high school, I blew up.
Mhm. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. It's like, and it's looking back, it's a look back on those things because, it's so beautiful at the very end where he wraps it all up and he
Right.
says, I never once gave thought to landing because I couldn't agree with you that more. Like I couldn't agree with the way that you just
I'm flying
talked about that.
high. I'm just
Yeah.
flying away.
And it
Growing
is
up.
something, yeah, it's something that we all have a sense of like, is this ever going to end? And then it has to, because nothing lasts forever. And I mean, there are things that last forever actually, but there are certain parts of our experience that are not going to necessarily last forever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because of that, we are going to have to land at some point with certain experiences. But, once again, he just gave it such an eloquent way of saying that, and then leads us into the next portion of, I hid in the clouded warmth of the crowd. I love that
Right.
because, that's kind of how we all can be. We can all like make ourselves that kind of that tornado warning siren, or we can be, you know, clouded in the warmth of the crowd. You can choose whichever
Yeah.
way you want to kind of put yourself out there. And, you know, but when they said, come down, he threw up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, oh,
growing up.
growing up, But then, he says, work it back now. And I think
Yes.
that is one of
Yes.
the things where he's kind of like, okay, now,
Gaining
because
some
this,
wisdom.
yeah, because
Growing a
this,
little bit.
yeah,
Understanding. Yes.
understanding and looking at it from a
Yes.
point of view and being able to have that perspective,
Yeah.
because, then he can look back and say, I took, speaking in the past, month-long vacations in the stratosphere, way up in the sky,
Mm-hmm.
way up high, and it's really hard to hold your breath. And I
Yeah.
think, that's where it's kind of that admission and that acknowledgement of the fact that, there were times when he felt like he was flying high, and he also felt like he really had to kind of hang on tight and hold his breath, you
Yeah,
know?
well, I think what I love is in the chorus here, of course, in the beginning, it was the clouded wrath of the crowd. And now the
Yes.
crowd is beginning to accept him. In other words, he's beginning to feel accepted. I hid in the clouded
Yes. Yes.
warmth of the crowd. So he's
Yes.
beginning to feel accepted. And they're like, come on, come down, quit, don't be so rebel-ish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
down. And he was, nope, I threw up. I just went back to my, I'm giving giving it my all. But
Yes.
then he
Yes.
realizes work it back now. And I think that is the month-long vacations in the stratosphere is him working it back.
Yes.
understanding that I can still be vocal and or whatever for my belief, and
Yes.
yet I'm understanding now that there is so much more and many more beliefs, because he doesn't just go to the, you know, I don't know, space or whatever. He goes to the stratosphere.
Yes.
It's
Yes. Yes.
really
Yes.
hard to hold your breath. In other words, I think that's a moment of, do I say anything? Do I not say anything? When you're in such a spaciousness,
Hmm.
there is so much awe and so much understanding of all that is. You can't hold your breath. You have to breathe, because
You do.
it takes your breath away,
Yeah, and if you don't
right?
breathe, you're going to be overwhelmed. And I
Yeah.
love I love being overwhelmed. Don't get me wrong. However, I do like to breathe too, because I feel like that makes me feel like I'm grounded in that moment of being overwhelmed beautifully,
Right.
you
And
know.
in that
And
moment, I swear I lost everything I ever loved or feared. I was the cosmic kid in full costume dress. So I love the way he's changed, Bruce, right? He's
yes,
grown
yeah, yeah,
up.
yeah.
No longer is he in gear set on stubborn. He's a cosmic kid in a
He's
costume dress.
Yeah, he was that cosmic kid in that full costume dress, flying his pirate flag and extending his sail from wing to wing. He acknowledges the fact that he had lost everything he ever loved or feared. At least he thought he did. I swear I lost everything I ever loved or feared. I was, again, speaking in the past, he's like, I was the cosmic kid in full costume dress. Well, my feet, they finally took root in the earth. And whew, that's where I feel that
Hmm.
rooted down in the earth, being
Yeah.
grounded.
Yeah.
But I
I
still
found the
got
love of
me,
Gaia.
yeah. But he acknowledges I still got me a nice little place in the stars, you
Hmm.
know. And I swear I found the key to the universe in the engine of an old parked car. Like, so simple.
Yeah.
It was right there the whole time. It's
Right.
been there the whole time. I just took me a while to figure out that I could, be taking root and enjoying Gaia and seeing the beauty in these simple, simple things. And then
Yeah.
you hit the nail on the head, Donna, because you had mentioned that he transitions from I hid in the wrath of the crowd, and then it goes to I hid in the warmth of the crowd. And now we have I hid in the
Yeah.
mother breast of the crowd. Like, how much more nurturing could you possibly be
Exactly.
be accepting,
Yeah.
And so I think you are right. The transition there is remarkable. It goes from the wrath to the mother breast, and
Hmm.
from both sides. Both sides are in complete surrender to each other. The crowd to
Yes.
Bruce Springsteen, and then Bruce Springsteen to the crowd. And that's so beautiful.
Yeah. Because for him, well, for all of us, the
Yes.
mother breast, like you said, Bruce, is the ultimate nurturing of self, of
Yeah.
understanding where, total unconditional love comes from, and nourishment and protection. It's everything. When you are being, as an infant, having that mother, holding you against her breast, and you being able to nourish yourself directly from that breast, just the thought of that,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
total encapsulation of protection and love and nurturing from the crowd, which is, I feel accepted. And that,
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
as a human being, is something we consider important until we
Hmm.
find that the acceptance is from within.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's what he says. But when they
Yeah.
said pull down, I pulled up. And I
Yes.
love that, meaning I stood up in my divinity. I said, here
Yeah.
I am in all of my humanness and my divineness.
Yes.
Oh, growing up.
Yes. 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 What a beautiful song. And um I I'm lucky because Bruce Springsteen happens to be my first name, Bruce. So I feel a very nice attachment there. But I was lucky being involved with a place that I used to work at, and where I used to work was invited to perform for our boss in the 1997 Kennedy Center Honors. And during that performance, we performed with on the same stage as with Bruce Springsteen. And I actually have pictures of the groups of us standing around, and you can just kind of see my face around my friends' heads in the back.
Aw.
But yeah, I was such a I I am so like lucky, and I guess it's a little bit of a humble brag, but I just wanted to expand on that to let people understand why I would say that was a personal experience with this artist, because
Oh, yeah.
that is very very personal to me. It was so amazing to be there and to listen to him and to be I he came down this same elevator I was riding, and we took that picture with him. He was right there with us, and I got to tell you, what an amazing human being. And so just
Wow.
like everybody else, just so excited to be, I mean, at 1997 he was so excited to be there. It was so cool, like I couldn't believe it. I felt so lucky. So yeah, I feel that connection. And so
And it's
I'm
also a
really glad.
beautiful moment, Bruce, of your life, of growing up. I
Yeah.
wonder, I would love for you all to share with us a moment of growing up in your life. What's something that you remember growing up? It could be from early childhood or teenager or young adult like Bruce.
Yes.
Think about, because those are the moments that make you who you are.
Yes.
And everything about you is perfect. And it's the
Yes.
way it's supposed to be.
Yes.
And to have you all share with us a moment in your life growing up would be such a beautiful moment for us. It's, it's like listener wisdom.
Yes. I couldn't agree with you more. It is such a beautiful gift. And so please feel free to share, and hopefully you feel confident and comfortable sharing us with that gift. We would love it. I was just
Yes.
thinking about the beautiful words of a friend of ours. It's April, who said, "We are all perfect. None of us are broken. We are all
Yes.
perfect, and no matter how we see each other ourselves, we really are perfect creations." And so thank you for that, Donna. I agree. And so yes, please share that, you guys, and you can send it to us an email. You can put it on our on the YouTube comment. You could, however you want to share that, please do. um
And
and
I,
even
Bruce, for one, would love to share that listener wisdom. Once we receive it on our next recording or next podcast, I'd love to share a little bit of listener wisdom with
that
the
would be
world.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. And honestly, all of this is thanks to our lovely team member, Allison. So
Yeah.
thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Such beautiful inspiration.
Yes.
And I know you guys are full of inspiration too. So share with us with some
Yes, please.
listener wisdom.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here today and joining us here on
Lyrical
Wisdom.